So the Mandalas have been my first no-edge shoe that I've been climbing with, and it's been interesting to see how no-edge is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, when I first heard about no-edge, I was like, so it's just a climbing shoe that's been worn a few times? I'm not gonna lie, that's initially what I was thinking. And now having the Mandalas and having climbed with them for the past bit, I realized it's not that. It's actually really great, and I've been loving them. It definitely took a little bit of time to get a feel for how to climb with no edge and kind of how to use it to my benefit. But once I figured that out, it's been like these are my new favorite climbing shoe. They are really, really amazing. The only caveat to my love of these shoes has been my first 2 sessions climbing with them. We were climbing in a gym, doing some bouldering, and I really didn't like them.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, be a spectator of all this, and to be like gradual, being like, okay, maybe it's just like a no edge quirk, and like maybe that's why, and then go from like I do not like these in the gym, and there's just kind of this progression, kind of just going down, being like not a huge big fan, like I remember you being like I'm not sure about this no edge,
Yeah.
and then just like you go outside, and it's like I love these.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of crazy to kind of notice the difference of climbing with them indoors versus outdoors. I think a part of that could also be getting comfortable climbing with them.
hmm
But climbing indoors, I felt like I couldn't trust my feet on like any kind of a volume or like smearing on the wall. And I also didn't feel like I could trust it on like small footholds. So I was having a hard time figuring out where they were supposed to like shine. Like what was their element? Because like most of the high performance climbing shoes have a area that they thrive at.
hmm
And from what I've seen in my experience with the shoes, it's climbing outdoors. Like I love them outdoors.
These are your go-to outdoor shoe then.
Easily. Yeah. I mean, slab, I feel great with them. I feel like I have so much sensitivity in my toe. And then on overhang, same kind of thing. They have a nice stiff toe box, but it's like you don't lose any sensitivity from it. And I haven't experienced that before. And it's been like really amazing.
Maybe that like, because I was always under the impression that no edge were just really soft shoes. That they were kind of a tech, newer in quotation marks, because the technology's been here since like the 90s.
hmm
So I was always under the impression that they were just a softer shoe. But after hearing you and definitely seeing you in the gym climbing on slab, it was like, these are not great for this.
hmm
And it started to make me think, or from what you were telling me, just how stiff the toe box was. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. I thought no edge was just like soft shoes, but I guess that's not. Because I mean, like the Genius from La Sportiva is another no edge shoe, and it's a very high performance overhang sport climbing shoe.
hmm
And it makes sense for the Mandala to be just like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm pretty sure out of all of the no edge kind of family lineup that they have, the Mandala has the firmest of the toe boxes.
hmm
And so I guess that's kind of it's filling in the gap that they had with no edge of like, well, we need something that's going to be a bit firmer.
Right.
Not just a gym shoe, which is what I feel like a lot of them have been.
hmm
I think this like I guess depending on the type of rock you're climbing on, it could also vary a little bit, but for the kind of basalt and conglomerate that we've been on, it's been like really great.
Yeah. And I've always like wondered about that, because we've been climbing the same rock, but we've been climbing with kind of two different shoes. I've been mostly in like solution comps or Katana women's,
hmm
and I've like always wondered, being like, how does it feel to have no edge? Are you feeling these tiny crystals more than I am? Because I know like that one day not too long ago, like I took off a chunk of the toe rubber, but I'm like I can't feel it, so I'm just putting a lot of pressure on it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's been really nice having the opportunity to climb on the problems around where we're at right now with these shoes and then also a variety of other shoes because
Right.
I can feel the difference and I can feel those tiny footholds. Like I'm not sure if it's like fully placebo or what, but when I'm climbing with them, I just feel way more attuned to what's underneath my foot. And even going back to back, climbing with solution comps and then
Mm-hmm.
climbing with the mandalas, it felt like a completely different problem. I felt way more precise and more confident in the tiny footholds that when the solution comps, like when I had them on, it felt like sloppy and scary and like I was just going to fire off at any moment. And yeah, even like the edging on the side with them has been really nice. Like, I love them. I started off being like, I'm going to love them. And then I wore them a bit and I was like, I really wish that I loved them.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we are.
And just all it took was doing some outdoor climbing, and you love them. And it's really weird to have that contrast, because I think from perception, from seeing these in the Olympics, being like, oh, they're an Olympic shoe, they're a comp shoe, they're going to do really good on like volumes and all that. But just seeing the stark difference, being like, I don't like them for the indoors.
Yeah. I'm curious to get back indoors and climb with them and see if like I was just still getting used to no edge, because there is, I feel like, a bit of a learning curve with that.
Could be. It could also be like just breaking them in. I know that these were other than the solution comps, these were kind of the other shoe that were kind of painful to
Yeah.
break in. And it could just be that now that you've gotten more time with them and maybe you've molded your feet to them a little bit more, they might be a little bit more comfortable
They're
indoors.
so much more comfortable. I feel like indoors it will be better because like my toes were in so much pain, and now like they feel insanely comfortable. They feel like they're like my street shoe size, and I'm a 38 and these are a 36 and a half. And like the heel, it's low volume, and I was worried that I was going to be really uncomfortable because I did have a bursa on my heel when I was first wearing them, and nope, like they don't dig in with the rand, but they have a really controlled lockdown heel. I love them.
Yeah.
They're just really, really great. And I'm definitely curious to get back inside and climb with them.
For sure.
Because that, I think, will be telling. Because Mori was wearing them in the Olympics and was climbing boulder and lead with them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, she did very well in lead.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of also another thing that I think they could be great at for those longer periods because they are a firmer shoe in the toe.
Right.
Kind of not pumping out your calves as much.
That makes sense, just to have that kind of more performance for steep climbing or prolonged climbing for that matter.
Yeah.
Do they feel pretty secure overall? I mean, I'm just kind of like looking at it, and you mentioned the heel, but they are just like a one strap. Like it's just one strap across the top, kind of like the Squamas for that matter.
Yeah.
And it's just, I was like looking at them and being like, how locked down do they feel?
I feel like the tongue is actually pretty similar to the Squamas, where it's almost like a slipper shoe, but the strap is just kind of there for some extra security. But it doesn't feel like the strap is even having to do much, and they're super secure.
Yeah.
I don't feel my foot moving around at all. They are like a slightly wider shoe, I would say, which works really well for me because I have slightly wider feet. But I could see someone with like really narrow feet maybe not loving them as much just because they could move around a bit. But for me and for my feet, they have been like a perfect shoe, really comfortable, and they have the leather inside, which is also very nice.
I mean, the leather inside is going to add to comfort, whether it be for sensitivity or whether it be for breaking in. And I'm almost wondering right now, like, I can see right into the shoe right now. And basically, like, to about right here is all leather. So your toes are right next to right here, and they're all on leather. So, like, the more you wear them, the more you get the grooves in. Your toes are going to be right against the edge, which should lead to having better sensitivity, which is going to be interesting to see.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm already feeling that a bit. And with no edge as well, the rubber, you are already closer to the wall. And so having that leather, it just adds to that sensitivity. And it's I think one of the things they had said is like the closest to climbing barefoot while still having a shoe on. And I think that's really true. It's much more comfortable, I think, than climbing barefoot would be, especially on something like granite.
Yeah, or very sharp limestone.
Yeah, these make it so you can thrive very well.
Yeah.
I'm definitely excited to see how they wear over time as well, and kind of how the break-in process continues to go. They're pretty broken in right now, but I think more time will make them even more comfortable. So super excited for that. I'm really excited to do some sport climbing in them as well, because I think that's going to be telling of how they perform. And so I just like super excited to climb with them for the rest of the season and just get more experience, get more, yeah, I love them. No edge, no problems.